Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick, and there is something going on in this country that every single person who owns a 3D printer needs to know about. Multiple states are pushing bills that would regulate your 3D printer, not just what you print, the actual printer itself. Now, real quick, before we get into it, I put together a free PDF that breaks down every single piece of 3D printing legislation, state by state, in plain English. What each bill says, what it means for you. The link is going to be down in the description. It's completely free. All right, guys, I'm going to go in order of when these were introduced, starting from late 2025 and working all the way up to right now. And I'll tell you along the way what each of these bills means for your setup. First, let's start at the federal level. In December of 2025, President Trump signed the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. And buried inside it is a provision that directly touches 3D printing. The DoD can no longer buy 3D printers from companies headquartered in China. And by 2029, they have to phase out all of it. Here's what makes this one really interesting though. The feds are not trying to slow down 3D printing. They actually really want more of it, just not from China. This is definitely a national security argument, not a public safety one. So keep that in mind as we go through the state bills because the contrast is striking. If you're a hobbyist, this one probably doesn't touch you. But if your business sells to the government at all, or if you're anywhere near the defense supply chain, you need to pay attention to which printers you're buying. There's also an organization called Additive Manufacturing Coalition based out of Washington, D.C. They're the national voice for additive manufacturing directly in front of Congress and federal agencies. Their annual DC fly-in is happening April 28th through the 30th, open to anyone who wants to show up and be heard. Link is down in the description. And there are also companion federal bills in the chambers, HR 4143 and S 2165, that would make it a federal crime to share firearm CAD files online. Both are stuck in the Judiciary Committee with about 1% chance of passing, but it's worth knowing about, but not moving anytime soon. Now let's go ahead and move on to New York. In January of 2026, Governor Kathy Hochul put forward two proposals, and both of them are a big deal. The first one is tucked inside the state budget bill. It's S9005 and A2228. And what it says is every single 3D printer operating in New York has to have software that scans your files. If that software thinks that it sees a firearm component, the printer refuses to print. Not because the file is illegal, but because the algorithm thought it might be. Now here's the problem with all of this. The technology that this bill requires doesn't even exist. Identifying firearms geometry from a raw 3D file is really quite genuinely difficult, and most desktop printers don't even have anything near that processing power to do it. On top of that, the open source firmware running the majority of all the printers makes any blocking requirement incredibly easy to get around. Now, the people pushing back on this aren't fighting the policy. They're simply saying the tech simply can't be done what the law is asking it to do. And it's not just advocacy groups saying this. Dan Shapiro is the CEO of Glowforge. They make laser engraving machines. He testified at a Washington state hearing and said it straight. The software these bills require doesn't exist, and it can't exist. You cannot look at raw geometry and determine what it's going to become. A gun grip and a handsaw grip have the same exact shape. A cylinder does not come with a label. But there's something else in this bill that nobody else is covering. It would create a Class E felony charge. Not for printing a gun, but for sharing a design file. A researcher, a journalist, an artist, under Section 2.10 and 2.11, possessing or distributing a print file that could theoretically produce a firearm component could be a felony, even if nobody involved has any intention in building anything. Now, Colorado had the same exact provision in an earlier draft. They simply pulled it over First Amendment concerns. New York has not done that yet. Now here's the number lawmakers keep pointing to. Everytown for gun safety tracked 3D printed recoveries across 20 major cities between 2020 and 2024. Those numbers jumped roughly 1,000%. 32 recoveries in 2020, 325 in 2024. That's the stats behind all of this. And here's the political reality you need to understand. Everytown commissioned a poll for 1,000 likely New York voters. 74% said they support requiring 3D printers to block illegal firearm printing. Factor in that Everytown commissioned it, but 74% is still a real number. These bills have genuine public support, and that's why they keep getting advanced. But remember, 325 recoveries across 20 cities is still a drastically small number relative to the overall picture. A peer-reviewed study out of the University of Louvain looked at 186 law enforcement encounters with a 3D printed firearm around the world. The majority of those cases were seizures, not situations where the weapons were actually discharged. Whether those numbers justify a felony charge for sharing a design file is a question that nobody in the room appears to be asking. And the timing on this one actually matters. New York's state budget was due April 1st. They had 6 extenders already, 3 weeks past deadline, and it still hasn't been voted on. And the 3D printing provision is still sitting inside it. If you're in New York, that vote could land any day now. So what does a bill passage actually mean for you? The printer sold into or shipped into New York would need to have that blocking tech built in. Share the wrong design file and you're looking at a felony charge. And every single printer sale would have to happen face to face. No online orders, no shipping to New York addresses. That bill is already written. New York also has a second bill, A2228, from Assemblywoman Jennifer Raj Kumar. This one says before anyone can buy a 3D printer, they need FBI fingerprinting and a full criminal background check. The seller literally cannot complete the sale until they've gotten a written approval back from the Division of Criminal Justice Services, and that can take up to 15 days. Here's the definition the bill uses for a 3D printer. I'm going to read directly from the text. A computer or a computer-driven machine or device capable of producing a three-dimensional object from a digital model. That's every single printer. Every single one on the entire market. Under that definition, buying a 3D printer in New York goes through the same process as buying a firearm. Now, Washington State is one that most other coverage completely missed. And it's the most important update in this whole entire video because Washington didn't just introduce a bill, they completely passed one. Governor Bob Ferguson signed HB 2320 on March 24th, 2026. It's already in effect. Washington didn't propose anything, they went ahead and just did it. It bans using 3D printers or CNC machines to manufacture firearms or components without a license. It also restricts sharing digital CAD files for firearm manufacturing with anyone unlicensed. If you're in Washington and printing anything in that category without a license, that's now illegal. There's also a companion bill, HB 2321, that would mandate printer blocking firmware. But the author called it a conversation starter and the status is still unresolved. HB 2320 is what matters. That one is complete law. Now, why does Washington matter if you're in another state? Well, because once one state crosses the finish line, the rest move faster. New York and California are both watching. As each one passes, it makes the next one just a little bit easier. Now, before I keep going, if you're finding this content useful, smash that like button and drop me a comment. Tell me which one of these bills concerns you the most and what you think lawmakers are getting wrong. I read every single comment on videos just like this, so drop one for me and let me hear your voice. All right, let's keep going because it gets even more extreme from here. Colorado HB 26-1144. This one has already passed both chambers and is sitting on the governor's desk. He's expected to sign it. Colorado is one step behind Washington, but it's moving fast. The bill makes it illegal to manufacture a functional firearm, frame, receiver, large capacity magazine, or rapid fire device using 3D printing. And honestly, most people would hear that and say, yeah, that makes complete sense. But here's where it gets weird. Look at how the bill defines 3D printing. Additive and subtractive manufacturing. Subtractive manufacturing is CNC machining. It cuts materials away instead of building it up like a 3D printer. Completely different process, but under the same bill, your CNC machine in Colorado is illegal like a 3D printer. Now that's a real problem for machinists, woodworkers, or anyone running a router table in their shop or in a classroom. A CNC router cutting shapes out of wood is, by this bill definition, a 3D printer. Now, there was also a file sharing provision in an earlier draft that the governor threatened to veto over the First Amendment concerns. Sponsors pulled it to get the bill across, but they said that for the record that they plan to bring it back under the new governor in 2027. And then there was California. Now, most of you know me as being in Arizona, but I'm actually from California. And they have Bill AB 2047, and this is by far the most aggressive proposal by a mile. And as of April 14th, the Assembly Judiciary Committee passed it 9-3 and sent it to the appropriations. This bill bans the sale or transfer of any 3D printer in California unless it's on a state-mandated DOJ-approved roster. To get on that list, the printer has to have a certified firearm blocking technology built in. Not on that list, and it can't be sold in California. Every make and model needs its own submission to the DOJ. They publish the approved list, and if you're not on it, it's not for sale. And here's where this one goes any further than anything else on this list. Knowingly disabling or circumventing the blocking tech on your printer, modifying it, you're getting a misdemeanor. Now, Prusa Research went on record. Their community manager put it in his own way. Your printer should be a tool for your own creativity, not a device that gets locked down or surveilled. Prusa is one of the most trusted names in open source 3D printing. That's not a throwaway comment. Now, the EFF flagged something that almost nobody else is covering. Once you build this kind of blocking infrastructure into law, it doesn't stay limited to firearms. They're comparing it directly to what happened with DRM on a regular 2D printer. Once those locks are legal, manufacturers can use them to force you into their own ink. Their parts, their software, this kind of playbook already exists. Inkjet printers have been doing it for years. Nothing in this bill prevents it from happening from your Bambu, your Prusa, your Creality, your Elegoo, your Anycubic, none of it. So what do you do with all of this? First, know where things stand. Washington is already in law. Colorado is sitting on the governor's desk. New York's budget vote could happen at any time. California just cleared committee. Washington already proved it can be done. The other states are watching closely. Second, contact your state representative. Not once, but repeatedly. If you're in New York, do it today. Email your assembly member and your senator and tell them to strip the 3D printing provision from the budget. The PDF I put together walks you through that. Third, 2 organizations worth knowing about. The Don't Ban 3D Printers campaign, which specifically mobilized the community on this, and the Additive Manufacturing Coalition, which works directly with the federal agencies and Congress. Both links are down in the description. Next, read the EFF's Permission to Print series. It's 3 parts, completely free, and it's the clearest technical breakdown of why this firmware blocking approach cannot work and what it would do to open source ecosystems. All 3 parts are linked in the description. Read it, share it. It's exactly the kind of argument that needs to reach policymakers. There are millions of 3D printers in this country doing remarkable things right now. Volunteer groups printing prosthetic hands, parts that you can't get anymore, the ones that people can't afford to buy from the manufacturers or can't buy from the manufacturers. Schools are teaching engineering with $200 machines. None of that disappears overnight, but a lot of it gets harder and more expensive if these bills keep moving, and that is what matters. Now, if you made it this far, I thank you. This is the kind of video that matters more than the gear reviews. It affects all of us, no matter what printer you run, what you print. Hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, share this with someone in the community who doesn't know what is happening yet, and grab that free PDF tracker in the description. It's the easiest way to stay on top of this. And again, my name is Nick. I hope you're having a great day, and as always, happy printing.